Why hello there, you lovely human. It's My Life here, and I want to talk to you today about my life 3 years after my coming out video. Well, almost 3 years. So, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but I will link my coming out video in the description below. So, hopefully you'll check that out so you get an idea of what that all means, but not before you watch this video. Watch this first. As for my life 3 years later, after I showed that video to pretty much everyone that I knew, it was an overall positive response. I think a lot of people tend to suspect people being transgender for one reason or another, but whatever their reasons were, there were some people who kind of knew or sort of thought that they knew, and they just happened to be right. And then there were those who were close to me, who were very familiar with me personally, and they were very, very accepting of me as Nina, as a woman, because that's essentially what being transgender is. You are who you are. You're female, or you're male, or it's whatever gender identity that you personally are taking on. And my personal gender identity aligns with being a transgender female, or just essentially female, which just makes it very easy for everyone to understand. Sort of kind of how some people say they're bi instead of pan. By the way, I'm pansexual, so, but I don't really like to water that down. I just tell people I'm pansexual. If they don't know what that is, I just tell them. But anyway, people hesitate to come out mainly because of family. And in my case, I kind of had a year before I came out to kind of at least let my immediate family know, or at the very least those who I was living with at the time, my mother and my brother. So a year before I made that video, I came out to my mom and my sister, same day, on my birthday, and they didn't. My sister was a little bit more understanding, but my mom, not so much. So that was an adjustment for her. I wouldn't say that it came very quickly. I would say that it was very much a gradual thing, and it's something that I personally had to stick with. I needed to talk to her. I needed to let her know the certain language that was needed to refer to me properly. I just needed to kind of educate her as I was educating myself. And I feel a lot of people do fear coming out, especially with family, mainly because they may not be as educated on what being transgender means, let alone what it means to them. So I do feel that it's very, very important to educate yourself, to read the materials, read as much as you can, watch as many videos as you can. You can watch mine if you want to, that might help you along the way, but watch other people's videos, and honestly just kind of understand what it means to you, so that when you confront them, you have the words to say. And I feel that was very helpful for me, because I'm very technical, and I research a lot on subjects that I'm interested in, just so that I can feel comfortable talking about it. So for me, I felt very confident in confronting my mother and my sister about it, because I was armed with enough data and information so that I could talk to them and explain to them what this all means and everything, so that I could answer their questions, so that I could kind of put their minds at ease, so on and so forth. As of lately, my relationship with my mom is not as rocky as it was before. This is a positive, I promise. My relationship with my mother has improved greatly over the years. It did not come easily, and it was very much something that I had to work on, because I wanted to have a better relationship with my mother. It wasn't all that great when I was pretending to be that guy or that son that she knew so well, or that she thought she knew so well. And I needed to work on that, because I needed to show her that that I was generally the same person, just the free me. It's the open-minded and person smiling and happy me that I've always wanted to be, but always felt that I couldn't be for one reason or another. You're probably wondering, I'm talking a lot about my mom, but you're probably wondering about what my father thought of this. He wasn't too keen on it. Yeah, he didn't like that very much. But, you know, you can't win them all. As for him, he was trying, I would say, but, you know, one thing led to another, you know, one word led to another. And some people are just unwilling to really open their minds. And unfortunately, my relationship with my father was improving after I came out, but quickly took a turn for the worse, unfortunately. And I don't live with my father. My parents are not together. They live their own separate lives. So the time that I had with my mother to kind of educate her and show her who I am was impossible for my father and I. As for me personally, 3 years later after making that video, I've learned a lot. I had a chance to really become stronger before I made that video. I wanted to make sure that I was confident in who I was, and who I am, rather. And I wanted to make sure that I could share with other people who it was that I am, so that people would understand, so that I could educate people and, you know, be able to let them know that I'm really the same person. I'm just a more complete version of myself. I feel more at home with myself. It had only been a year since I began living as Nina when I made that video, and, you know, I worked a job, I went out with friends, I went to anime conventions, I did all the things that I used to do, but I just took whatever heat that I would receive from family, from the people on the outside who didn't know, who suspected, people who didn't say anything, who you know how you get into that pattern where you think that the whole world is watching you. They're really not. So don't let the world stop you from being you, for sure, because no one really gives a damn, to be quite honest. So whenever I ran into people who had known me prior, I just had to come out to them. I had to kind of quickly, either if I had time, I would kind of go into detail, but otherwise I would just kind of sum it up as quickly and succinctly as I could, so that they could hopefully understand and walk away with a good, hopefully better impression of what being transgender means. And that's always my goal, so people can walk away with a good impression of what being transgender really means. Finding work is not easy. Let's just be real here. You know, like, people will say, "Oh, you look so pretty. Oh, you're stunning. Oh, your makeup is so good. Oh, your voice is amazing." I mean, thank you, but in the same token, it came with time. But that doesn't mean that I'm not still struggling. That doesn't mean, just because I look the way that I do, doesn't mean that everything is just handed to me on a silver platter now. You know, being a woman, just in general, is not easy. It's tough. Being a woman is tough. And I'll be the first to tell you firsthand. I had a lot to learn. And not just that, but just finding work as a woman, and as a trans woman at that. It has not been easy, and, you know, that's a trial. You have to be willing to be happy with yourself in order to progress with your life. You can't let the circumstances outweigh your own happiness, because your happiness and who you are as an individual is way more important and way more valuable than any job. Though obviously we all need to work, I feel it's important to not let your job get in the way of you being you. And again, I'm not saying that like having a wonderful job, like a job that let me transition really quickly and easily and just seamlessly, like I don't come from that. Like I go from job to job to job. I have a bachelor's degree in interactive multimedia, so I'm very tech and IT oriented, so that's really my core basis of my education, what I do for work. But I'm also a voice actress. I'm also an actress on film and everything. And like, you know, I've gotten back into I've gotten back into competitive gaming, and that's those are stories for another time. But those things are in my life because I know that I need to do what it is that I need to do personally to survive, even if I don't have a job to really support me. And you know, that's kind of why I'm here talking to you guys, and not just let my coming out video be the first and last time that I appear on YouTube. So I'm stepping out, and I'm starting to make videos like this one. And this is likely my first or second one that you'll probably see that'll be in my collection. And I just want to, you know, end with a big thank you to you guys who are taking the time to watch this video. Thank you so much for, you know, listening to me rant and ramble. I don't really mean to kind of be so long-winded, but I hope that you got something out of this. And this is just, I just wanted to tell you guys what life is like for me 3 years later. It's not easy. It's not glamorous, but I'm happier every day, and I face the struggles head on. You kind of have to, when you come out, you develop a really thick skin, and I feel that no one should sacrifice their identity for the sake of their livelihood. So again, thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to subscribe, I will be making videos in the future. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Hopefully, you know, my videos will get better in time. But I just wanted to get started instead of saying, "Oh, I'll do it. I'll just do it. I'll just do it. I'll just do it," and you know, never really doing it until 3 years later. Thank you all so much again, and until next, you lovely people.